What's going on, Boxing Heads, PYP Boxing? We got a lot of news to talk about. Let's jump right into it, dude. First of all, it's Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. It's fight week. They're going to be fighting at the Barclays Center in New York City. And as I was watching this bizarre press conference, how bizarre the whole buildup to this fight has been. Ryan's behavior has been pretty strange and weird. Haney not really bringing a whole lot to this promotion himself. Tickets were overpriced. The undercard is very lacking. I don't know, man. I have a feeling this event isn't going to be as big as everyone thought it was going to be. Feels like it's on the verge of being a bust. It could change. People love seeing car wrecks. They love to slow down and stop what they're doing to see a car wreck. This is definitely a car wreck happening in front of us. What's your feel about how the build up to this fight has been going?
Man, the build up to this fight has been pretty strange. Just sent, I just uploaded a video earlier today. Action Jackson, he's in there, he's in that division, and we were talking about it. Shout out to Carlos Jackson, and I asked him break down Haney Ryan. Man, we went off on a tangent about Ryan, and is he really this crazy? Is he not crazy? Is he just pulling a fast one on all of us, and he's gonna come out sharper than ever? We just don't know, and it's so bad. Carlos Jackson talked for about 4 minutes, and we didn't even break down the fight. We ended up talking about we don't know. We don't know if Ryan's gonna show up, the good Ryan that we've seen, and we don't know. I mean, he could. I want to say 60% of me wants to say that he is acting out on purpose to sell the fight, but 40% of me maybe thinks he is a little bit off the rocker. We do know that he is a little bit bipolar. We know that he takes meds for that, but I mean, I don't know, man. It has been more than crazy this week. Has looked even more crazy, but with the marrying the porn star, and then maybe he didn't marry her after all. He was in a club the other night with his shirt off. He flew into the New York with his shirt off, showed up to the Empire State Building with his shirt off. Haney slapped him. It's just been a circus since day one. I think maybe that's what they wanted to build up. So, a part of me wants to say it's all staged. I'm just thinking more of me wants to think that he's just trying to sell the fight. And I think he's doing a good job of it, man. Everybody's glued to the TV. Everybody's glued to YouTube. Everybody wants to know what's going on. Me and you've talked about it. I think it's going to do well. I think it's going to, I'm predicting 700 pay-per-view buys. I'm hoping it gets 700 pay-per-view buys. Everybody's predicting 500. And I do predict a sellout crowd. New York shows up late. I think 700 pay-per-view buys, and I think it's going to sell out. I think it's going to be all right.
At 500,000, they can still make some money, but you're right. It would be considered a failure because they're supposed to sell more than that, right? The expectation is much higher, but they're still going to make money at 500,000 pay-per-view buys. It's not going to be a fallout. I was torn for a little bit myself, whether or not Ryan, is he putting us on? Is he crazy like a fox? But here's the thing that gives me pause on that. Who else has to sell a fight this hard? Like, this is supposed to be a layup, bro. There was no need to do all this. And I think it's done more harm than good. I haven't really been talking about this fight. And whenever I do talk about this fight to anybody, I'm just kind of like, yo, Ryan's kind of crazy, right? Like, is this fight even going to happen? When it first got announced and I was watching those press conferences, and then all the conspiracy theory stuff started coming out, I'm like, this dude, they're going to pull this guy out. And I think that hurt the gate. I think that hurt the promotion. I think people were hesitant to invest money to fly, reserve hotel rooms, get those plane tickets, get those boxing tickets. Like, that's an expensive venture for a fight that you're not even sure is going to happen. If I was Devin Haney, man, I would be kind of pissed at Ryan right now. Like, dude, you sabotaged this whole thing. But I think other problems that hurt were the price of the tickets and the undercard not being announced until like 2 weeks before the fight. all of that
Hmm.
uncertainty and high price of the tickets, I think it all just created a perfect storm of hesitancy for people to invest in wanting to see this fight. On to breaking the
Yeah.
fight. To me, Haney has every advantage. I think he's gotten better since he's gotten into the sport and become a professional. Whereas I think Ryan's actually regressed. I don't think Ryan has gotten any better. The last time I saw him look decent was against Luke Campbell. And in that fight, he got knocked down and hurt pretty bad. I think his defense is really poor. He still stands up too straight. He has a killer left hook, and all that's all anybody can really talk about is his left hook. That sounds like a puncher's chance. And most times when you're talking about a puncher's chance, you're just waiting to hit the lottery, man. Devin does everything else better except punch. I expect him to win. I actually think he embarrasses Ryan for a while. It gets to a point where he starts embarrassing Ryan, and I don't know what happens after that, man. Does Ryan quit on his stool? Does Ryan give up, walk out of the ring? I don't know, but I'm expecting Haney to wash him.
I'm expecting Haney to pitch a shutout as well. He's just too good of a boxer. He's does everything well. He's a lot bigger now. He's not bigger than Ryan as far as taller than Ryan, but I mean he's growing into his body. He sits on his punches now, and I think at this point now, Devin Haney has the best jab in boxing. That guy's jab is unbelievable, and when he needs to fajarse, se va a fajar. So sometimes Ryan gets aggressive. Ryan is, you're right, the same trick pony. He likes to, he's really good with that left hand, and everything comes off of that left hand. Everything he tries in desperation is with that left. Luke Campbell, they dropped him. What did he do? He came back, started throwing the left, throwing the left, throwing the left, feinted it once and caught him, throwing it a different angle. I think he got desperate with Tank also, through the left, through the left, through the left, maybe thinking he could set up a feint later, but Tank was too smart for that and just before he could even start trying to set up feints, he knocked him out of it. So we have to see something different from Ryan. I think the time with Derek James now, and Derek James probably knowing what he has to do with him, they've spent more time together this time. And I think it's going to happen. I think all this is maybe a diversion for us to see something new and improved with him and Derek James. If that happens, he's got a shot. If not, I don't care how fast that left hook is. Haney already knows it's coming, and he's too good for it. And that jab is gonna just it's gonna stop him if he fights the exact same way. If he needs to come out with something very different to beat Haney.
Anyway, are you going to be watching the fight? Of course you are, because you're a streamer. You're going to be
Yeah,
tuning in on Saturday night, Mark.
absolutely, man.
All right. I'm I'm a pay guy. I pay. I'm kind of on the fence here. There are a lot of pay-per-views going on in the next couple of months. We've got the pay-per-view for Usyk Fury. So I'm going to be looking at that on my bill. Then there's also the June 1st Beterbiev versus Bivol fight. That's also going to
Well,
be
that's
on the
free.
cable bill. Those two are going to be on the cable bill. Now I got to think it's going to be Ryan Haney or Canelo Munguia. I'm not buying all four of those because I'm not trying to have a $300 something cable bill. I'm not trying to buy all four. I might buy three. So it's going to be, if one of them is going to get cut off, it's either Haney Garcia or Canelo Munguia. And on to that, did you hear today there was an announcement Canelo versus Munguia is going to be $90. That pay-per-view is going to cost $90. I was looking forward to this fight. I think it's a great fight. The undercard announcement kind of bummed me out. There's not a real fight on the undercard that to help support the main event. $90 to me feels like a price gouge. This $90 is for like a premium pay-per-view event to me, right? That's a premium price. Most pay-per-views are 70 to 80 bucks. $90, now you're coming into $100 territory, right? Wasn't that like Pacquiao
Yeah.
Mayweather, right? Okay. Munguia and Canelo, that's a good fight. It's not a premium fight. I know you're by the border, so you get to see this free of charge due to Azteca
Yeah.
TV. But do you think that's a reasonable price for this fight?
Man, everything is getting outrageous. David, at Waterburger here, we're paying $12 a combo, man. You know what I mean?
That's a deal,
twelve
bro.
dollars
That's
a
a deal.
combo.
That's a deal.
But no, in all seriousness, man, $90 is it's getting out of hand. And this is me. I like the Canelo Munguia, but I
Me too.
know that the world wants to see Canelo Benavides. I think that nowadays, with the prices of everything going outrageous, they need to see about pricing certain fights at a pricing level. $90, fine. Give it to the people when they get Canelo Munguia. I mean, when they get Canelo Benavides. Give it to the people when they get Canelo Benavides, $90. All right. I understand that. The whole world wants to see that. I think that this is a better fight. A Canelo Munguia fight, if we're setting the bar at $90 to be like the premium fights, Munguia Canelo should be at about a $70 range. You know,
I agree.
we need to start pricing these
Tiering.
accordingly, putting different prices
Yeah.
on the tiering these.
A price tier. I
Yeah, because
like that
ninety
idea
dollars across
because
the board. If it's going
not
to be 90
everything
bucks
has to
across
be
the board,
$70.
correct.
Remember Bob Arum used to do the Latin Fury and the Filipino pay-per-view cards. I don't know if you remember Latin Fury back in the
Yeah,
day. Julio Cesar Chavez
yeah.
Jr. used to fight on the Latin Fury cards, and those were like 29.99.
Yeah, I remember
They
that.
didn't charge
They used to have
$50 to
different
see those
tiers.
fights. Yeah, the different tiers. And I think if you're gonna force people to pay for some of these fights, tier them correctly. I think you'll get more buys that way and more eyes watching the guys you're trying to promote. One more thing I want to talk about. Sonny Edwards versus Adrian Curiel is set for the undercard of Bam versus Gallo. Both Edwards and Curiel are coming off losses, Mark, but I like this fight. I think it's a good matchup. It should be competitive. What do you think of the fight?
I like it, man. This is what we should have seen a couple of weeks ago. Guys that lose and that have kind of big statures, match them together. Don't give them a chance at a championship. Let them prove themselves. I love this. They're having two guys that lost, two high caliber guys, put them in the ring together, see who comes out, and then you get a shot. I love it. This card has officially gone to damn good. Yeah.
You just got to have a zone description. But what you
Yeah,
could do is buy the zone for a monthly payment, $20. You get to see this fight. I think
absolutely.
Edwards should be favored in this one. If you recall, when we were watching Curiel versus Nochinga, in an interview or right after the fight, he said, I had been fighting in higher weights like 112, and that's not my weight class. I'm fighting men that are bigger than me. He said he's stronger at 108 pounds. Well, he's fighting Sonny Edwards at 112 pounds, which he's admitted is not his weight class, not his preferred weight. So you've got to give Edwards the edge here. But the style clash that these two have, Edwards is a boxer, very shifty. He likes to mix it up, but he's a boxer. And Curiel likes to come forward. He's very aggressive. Who do you favor in this fight?
You know what? From seeing Sonny Edwards' past outing and Adrian Curiel's past outing, I'm going to go ahead and favor Sonny Edwards because Sonny Edwards was in a very close fight. And it was one of those that, could have been talked about as one of the options for fight of the year last year. He was in a banger with Bam. Obviously, Bam is a talent like no other in those divisions. But given his outing against Bam and Adrian Curiel's last outing, I got Sonny Edwards winning this one as well.
Yeah, and I know Sonny doesn't really have a lot of pop at 112 pounds, but I
But he
think
showed
he
me a
has
lot
a
against Bam.
yeah. Well, he showed that he can bite down, but I think I like that fight, and I agree with you. It was exciting until they got one sided towards the end. It got very one sided
Hmm.
towards the end, but Sonny's got heart, man. So this should be a very fun fight to watch. The only question I have is, can Sonny Edwards, does he have enough to back Curiel off of him? If you remember, that rematch with Nonshinga, Curiel, had Nonshinga against the ropes a lot. And I think he just he ran out of gas because he was throwing
Yeah.
lots of punches and he was using a lot of energy pressing Nonshinga against the ropes. And I think he just blew his wad early in the fight. And Nonshinga was able to weather the storm and take over the fight after Curiel tired out. I don't know if Sonny Edwards is going to be able to back Curiel off of him. That's one of the questions that I have. But I definitely see this as a nice clash of styles. I think it's going to be fun. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up right there, guys. There's more to talk about. So we'll be back at you with another video. Everybody, have a good one. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.